Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Rugby over here on the Trans Wolves channel. This topic is about trans identity and feminism, so that's this week's topic. And feminism. I'm going to share with you my view on feminism. I was raised in the school of thought that's based on the free to be, you and me. And if you haven't ever seen that special, it's a great one. It's very 1970s. Basically, hit upon a lot about gender roles and rigid boxes that society tends to put people in, and pointing out the fact that people can be exactly as they are, and it doesn't matter, and who you are, what gender you are, that you should be able to feel free to be exactly as you are. I mean, there's one skit in there about William wants a doll, about this boy who just really wants to have a doll. And he loves all these other things that society says are for boys, but he also would like to have a doll. So there's that, and then there's also examining other roles. Obviously, women who are going into different things that were pre-designated for men, so to speak. So it's kind of the whole school of thought that everybody should feel free to, pursue what they want and not have to fit into a certain role or box. So it's very, very neat, and that's also that's how I view feminism. It's all included and all have the potential to achieve mastery in whatever it is. Whether back in the day, it's like women can definitely do construction work and excel at it, and likewise there are men who are very good at doing things that were just thought of as primarily for women. The movie Mr. Mom kind of touches on that, and coming to that realization. And there's a lot of stigma, especially for men who are doing what were assigned women's tasks, so to speak, and they can do very well at it. So that's my view on feminism, and all inclusive, and coming away from all those gender role things as an oppression thing. And there's nothing wrong with if you do fit in that box. Nothing wrong with that. It's just one size does not fit all. So, and remembering also time where in some women's groups, and I've witnessed this take place in the government sector. There was a women's governor's council on women, and it was obviously staffed by a group of women, and of course present in the group were lesbians, and of course some women in the group were heterosexual. And this was a number of years ago, but there was some strife in the group, some disagreement regarding policy, and it got kind of nasty. And so some of the heterosexual women went as far to say that lesbians didn't really belong in that group because they didn't consider the lesbians to be women, or real women, air quotes, real women. But lesbians are women, and that point is, nobody else gets to just decide whether or not you make the grade to fit into a certain club. Um, Lesbians are women, and trans women are women too. So I'm seeing a lot of this trans exclusionary feminism, radical feminism, and so basically what they don't realize they're doing is more the patriarchy, and patriarchy is very exclusive, whereas whereas if it's women's, women led, if you will, it's all are to the table. There's not necessarily a hierarchy. It's we're all in one group together and symbiotically working well. And so basically, what they're doing is excluding, and that's a very patriarchal form of type of setup. Trans women are women, just like lesbians are women. Um, Now, last I knew, Gloria Steinem's point of view is it is inclusive, and she's always been a very inclusive spokesperson. So I know there's some folks that are upset at her for including trans women at the table. And what a lot of cis people don't realize is that for many, many trans folks, um, especially if we knew at a young age, um, even though we couldn't do anything about it back then, but if you know in your heart what gender you are and you got a whole bunch of people telling you you're a different thing, it doesn't matter how they view you. That doesn't dictate how you see the world. So, being a boy, I always absorb the messages in the society directed at boys. So, be tough, don't, don't cry, etc. And be tough and strong. And so, speaking for that, so absorbing those. And I do know some trans women who had this similar experience of absorbing the message that was directed for girls. So, I mean, we're kind of in this walking the line thing that people are trying to tell us, no, here's the message you should be getting, and we're also seeing present messages directed at our gender identity. So it's important to include everyone, because everyone has something different that they can bring to the table. And the more things you can bring to the table, the better you'll be able to move forward. And it's all about inclusion so that we can all be set free from the rigidity that is patriarchy. So that's my perspective on it. Hope everybody's doing well, and catch you later.